Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. No doubt, it's Mouth to Mouth Project MC, and we live here at WBSU Bulldog Nation Radio. Listen, man, we got a very special guest just came through in the building. We got the one and only working in television and radio. And what's funny, she didn't even start out doing that. We got the one and only P in the building.
What's up?
P, how you feeling, yo?
I'm feeling great. Thank you.
Well, first things first. Welcome to WBSU.
Thank you for having me.
Why you coming with that smooth voice? Welcome to WBSU.
You got the radio voice.
You know, so here at WBSU, mental health is very important, and we like to always ask our guests to participate in the mental health check-in, right?
Period.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bad, 10 being good. And if there's anything in between, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're gonna do mental capacity, business, and family on a scale of 1 to 10.
I'm at a 10.
For which one?
Positively for all of them.
For all three across
All
the board?
three. I'm good.
Okay. I
I'm
like
good.
to hear it. I like to hear it. MC, introduce your co-host. Since you don't ever want to introduce nobody.
So listen, man, we got the one and only number one, never number two, Big Jew in the building. Jew,
Yes,
how you
sir.
feeling, man?
Doing pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Mr. President is in the building. You know what I mean?
For me, I'd say that I'm feeling across all the boards. I'd say like a 8 right now. Got some work to do for real, but mainly because I'm tired from CIs last week.
100%,
That was a lot doing that. But other than that, man, can't complain. I'm good. How are you feeling, Jew? How are you?
It's a business day. You know, any day is a work day is a good day for me, man. So I would say business is always at a 10. Mental capacity, like you said, about a 7.5, 8. You know what I mean? We was coming off of CIAA weekends, action packed, a lot of work needed to be done, a lot of planning, and also doing the class thing. So
Facts.
that wasn't easy. So about 7.5. Family always love. My little brother's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy
Shout out to all
belated.
the Pisces. in the
Happy
building.
belated. You know, 5K birthdays today.
5K birthday
5K birthdays today. That's a good brother right there.
And we got
Happy
my
birthday.
co-host tag teaming with me. His birthday tomorrow, so I'm gonna let him go ahead and do that thing.
What we got in the building, man?
Man, you already know who you got in the building. I'm gonna let you know real fast. It's the biggest hope boy. The one that came along with me selling that. And now I'm giving out that hope. So let's get it. Let's go.
Okay.
I just wanna evaluate. He said the biggest hope boy. He's not a dope boy. He's a hope boy. You know what? You should put that on a t-shirt.
I have it on.
That's
the
hard.
I really
That's
do.
that's hard.
Okay, but let's go. Let's tap in back to you. Let's go ahead and start with the early life, right?
The early life.
You've been to Bowie State. You're familiar with it.
Come on,
So let's talk a
Bulldogs.
little bit about it.
I used to play volleyball and basketball many moons ago. Here, what's that? 13 years ago now.
What was your favorite to play out of the two?
So out of the two, volleyball for sure. Yeah, volleyball for sure.
I heard my whole background. Yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite. My favorite sport of all time was tennis, though. I love tennis.
You don't hear that too often. Don't hear that
Yeah.
too often. Tennis. What about tennis was like? What made it for you for real?
Strategy. And then a lot of, I played singles mostly. So it was I didn't have to work. It was just me. Team sports is great and, you have the camaraderie, but I'm very self-disciplined and I like to improve and learn how to do things. So, having opponents that I can literally break down their entire play and know exactly how I'm going to beat them and build up to that was my favorite part about it.
Now, that's funny. You said how you was able to pretty much take away from the game of tennis strategy, right?
Yeah.
How did you utilize that kind of skill in the real world?
Same thing. It's networking, right? So instead of taking away, it's how can I build? I'm big on infrastructure. Pretty much my church that I grew up in, church that I still go to this day, we were always taught infrastructure. And the concept of that is different from, trying to reach out to somebody else who has more as opposed to reaching out across and seeing what your network has, what the person next to you has, and how can you fill a void for them and vice versa. So that way, you develop more relationships where people feel like they're being valued and utilized. Because nothing wrong with using someone. It's just it has to make sense. And it's not because if you're not usable, you're useless, right? So it's I'm telling you up front, hey, this is what I need. And I know that you have these things, and this is something that I can offer you. How can we work together to a common goal? So similar to that, like I said, you just evaluate that same strategy of tennis where I'm trying to defeat you. Now I'm looking, well, how can I help you? How can I serve you? That's my big thing. Entrepreneurship is really about service in general. So I guess that's my real world application for it. Service in tennis, service in life.
That's dope.
Boom, there you
That's
go.
dope. That's dope.
You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about. I like that analogy, right? So you say you did singles. So that kind of gives you like a little competitive aspect. Do you apply it because you're a woman of many hats, right?
Yeah.
So does it apply to like you having so many different jobs?
In terms of
like that kind of competitive spirit, like okay, I got like what's like the new
yeah,
challenge?
so it's like and that's like an interesting thing because a lot of times it comes more so down to what is being asked of me. So like with a consultancy, you have a lot of different hats, but the way I describe it is a person who has many talents is good at not any of them, really. So it's like I know how to do a core amount of things well. And any hat that I wear is under the same department. Like it's not like by day I'm a software developer and then by night I'm this, and then in between I'm also an electrician and a plumber, and I can also fix cars, and then I babysit children as well. Even though technically those are the things that as a mom like you have to do. Like I was fixing my car the other day. I do have children, this and that. But in terms of like my business, everything kind of flows under one umbrella. So I might be working on this particular thing, but it also aligns with A, B, and C that I do normally. So it's like a balance because you don't want to be spread thin and unable to fulfill the things that you are putting out there for people. So
You said something earlier about you're either usable or you're useless, right? So
Yes.
of course, in the industry that you're in, media, entertainment, you meet a lot of people who may try to use you for
Yes.
what you can do. How do you go about navigating and discerning whether or not what's the real intentions really?
prayer, and then time, and then I ask more questions. Like I like to allow people to talk, because in due time people reveal their intentions. It's just something that you can't avoid. Like you can only, especially like I said, when you're paying attention to things, like people can't just get over necessarily. So I ask questions, I let people talk, I try to understand full spectrum, and I don't marry myself to any particular idea or concept. So if something doesn't seem to make sense, if it's not the right time for something, I'm okay with letting it go. So that's one thing I would say for sure.
Well, I'm so glad you brought that up because that was leading me to where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
One thing that I paid attention to is one of the most valuable things that I've noticed about you, and I really appreciate. You are not afraid to speak on how God blessed you. You are not afraid to speak on how you have grown throughout your entire life. A lot of people don't know. I know about your blessings that you've had in your life, but a lot of people don't know how many things you've overcome.
Yeah.
It's being a black woman at that.
Yeah.
Us light skins, they
We're trying to say against dark skins, yo. What you trying to say, yo?
Listen, people in general.
Y'all can bruise, we don't see it. Now we bruise too easily. But
Okay.
one thing I do notice is you empower a lot of women when it comes to podcasting.
Yeah.
And I watched a podcast you were on. You empowered a very big topic on
Oh
women.
wow. Okay.
So with that being said, what drives you to do that? What makes you feel like, this generation needs to listen to this?
So it kind of goes back to like your mental health check-in. I feel like it has been taboo for so long for people to talk about it. It's just like it's such a weird subject, but it's needed. So for me, women especially, like we have, and black women especially, we have that. We're so strong. We can take on all of this. And we've worn it like as a badge of honor, and it's cool, but it's hard. Like being the strong friend is hard. And then when your strong friend is also a mother or the oldest or a CEO or a entrepreneur, like it feels like you never have enough time in the day for anything, much less yourself. So it's like I just wanted to make it okay for people to feel like, no, it's okay to not be okay. It's totally fine. Like, let's talk about it and try to get you support, get you advocacy, get you empowerment. Even just, girl, like, you need a drink, So that's one of the things that I try to, okay, now I can't hear myself in my ears. Okay. There we go. So female empowerment and just letting all the stories of womanhood, sisterhood be told, it's been like a big thing for me. I'm the oldest of four. It's 4 girls in my family. And so each of my sisters, they are different. And just watching them grow, watching them become the women that they are, it kind of just motivated me to continue that. Like I unintentionally kind of carry that sisterhood across, and I treat anyone like my sister. So
Well, I'm glad you said that because in an interview that you did, the very same interview I was talking about, I actually took something from what you said.
Okay.
And you put it for men, but it was more so catered to women could take it as well.
okay.
But you
What
said
interview was this?
You said in the.
I said, what interview was this?
I'm gonna show you.
Okay, because I'm like, wait,
She's
what?
like, I didn't remember doing
I
this.
can't give out all my secrets.
Oh, you're right. We'll
We
talk
like
about it
to- come on
offline.
now,
I got you.
But, so you said in that podcast, you said black men in general, we try to hide our emotion. We try
Yeah.
to fight from being open, being vulnerable, being able to even have a person to cry on, even not even just cry, have a person to even talk to, have that listening ear. And you said, us as being a woman, that's hard too as well, because it's hard to break through that barrier as a man to get to a man. And I learned that with myself that I implemented. Because you said,
Oh my
you
goodness.
said, don't be afraid to let your guard down, and don't be afraid to actually learn from what you see around you.
Yes.
And because of that, I am here with you. So I must say thank you for that.
Oh, I appreciate that. I'm happy. I'm happy that touched you, and I just, like I said, it's true. It's like, we put a lot of value on, and I'm definitely guilty of that. My dad used to get on me all the time. I was the hard head. I'm gonna learn it myself. He always said you can learn through wisdom, which is other people's experiences and mistakes, or you can learn through bad experiences of your own. And I was just like, I'm gonna have to figure out. I need to figure how does this work for me? And it was just like, sometimes it's cool, like you do get knowledge and you get to have the knowledge of the good and the evil, but there's a lot that comes with that, and it's stressful if you just kind of step back and wait a second. You know what I'm saying? Going back to that strategy, tennis or whatever, you figure out how to play your cards in that moment, you get a lot more knowledge. So, and then guys especially, like, again, if it's difficult for women to discuss their emotions, it's still more socially acceptable if things happen. Like, they're like, well, females are emotional, or they're this and that, so they can whatever. But guys, it's like y'all have no fail safe on that. It's just
Facts.
like, you as a man, you're supposed to know. And that's like the amount of pressure that will impart to someone is tremendous. So like I said, I think when you acknowledge your emotions and how you feel about things, when you give yourself the grace to process them, you also take that power away from someone making you feel less than because you had a moment. It's like, yeah, I did it. And it's like, and here's where I'm at with it from there. So how are we moving forward? Like, you take the power away from someone being able to name call you or call you this or that. It's like, yeah, no, I'm entitled to that. I can feel that way. It doesn't change anything about it. So, look, y'all don't be looking behind me, okay? I be having head on the swivel, so let me know what's going on.
The
Okay.
glass buildings, live, live studio artists is out in the crowd.
Oh, like they can hear us and stuff. That's all
Yeah,
I'm
they can
saying.
hear
Can't
us.
wait to the new building with all this. You just
Yeah.
Just,
Shut
y'all
us
just need to
off.
put like a little filter, a little black
yeah,
filter,
need some.
so we can
Sound.
see out, but they can kind of just peek their heads in.
Told you
Like,
put that in the plan.
no, it's the chicken wings for me. Like, what's up? You breaking down?
Yo, why you aggressive?
Just aggressively eating one chicken
I wish
wing.
niggas, I wish they could have seen
I
that.
feel like he killed it himself.
Yeah, nah, he was very proud of that chicken
But
wing.
so I heard that you just came back from a radio station, right? You left from one radio station and came here.
Oh no, so I was at a venue. I had a walkthrough
venue.
for a potential show, and yeah, literally I was finishing up with my client. I was like, oh, 3:30, yes, let me boom boom boom. So I was in Philly. My best friend and I drove to Philly yesterday for a show and to meet with two of my clients, and came back this morning from Philly. We got back like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Then I went to work this morning because I had 2 different meetings, a couple contracts for stuff that need to get finished. And then as soon as I finished my walkthrough, I got the phone call and I was like, oh yes, I have somewhere to be at 3:30. Let me get up the road immediately that I just came down 5 seconds ago. It's great.
Okay, so what's the hardest part about your industry and how do you overcome it?
The hardest part about my industry and how do I overcome it? It's people, really. Because it's like, there's so much that goes into doing an event, doing things for music, like the consistency that's needed, or people to do their part or deliver on schedules, because like in the creative industry, you have to be self-contained. You have to keep yourself on the schedule. You got to keep yourself organized. You don't have someone telling you, okay, this deadline is this or this deadline is that. A lot of times you create them. So you might have an end goal. Let's say your project as an artist, you're dropping it 6 to 8 weeks from now. What are the steps between your drop date and everything leading up to that? And to do those things consistently in that 42 or 56 day period, you know, to make the drop date successful. I feel like a lot of artists, they kind of stop at, you know, recording, and then they'll put some money in a music video and then have absolutely no marketing plan or no money to market the video that they created, and just expecting people to just gravitate like flies to a light. I mean, it's just kind of, it's accepted. That's what people just think normally. Then it's like, well, no one's supporting me. What, did you give them something to support? Did you tell them about it? Did you give them something of value that will make them, or is it just they're supposed to support it because it's you? You know, so
It's funny. I was just looking on your Instagram, and there's a post that you had talking about A&R and artist development. Do you feel like the role of an A&R and artist development as a whole is dead in the industry today?
do I feel like it's dead?
Yeah.
No. It's definitely not dead. It's just like, I feel like people try to skip steps, and people feel like artist development is just like, nah, I got this type, and it's like, but you don't. And if you can't acknowledge that you don't, there's a reason that people get paid to do this. There's a reason that they have these things. There's a reason that if you don't, even in terms of artistry, right? We talk about creativity, and as much as you don't want to acknowledge it, if you leave the skill element to developing your craft just to the wayside, that makes it possible for these AI creative talents and artists to come, because they can just take advantage of like basic economics, basic productivity and stuff that you don't know how to access because you don't have the knowledge for it.
Right.
But all these labels do. They can literally create an artist, and promote it. So you need to understand what makes people tick. You need to understand what causes people to want to go and download your music or buy hard tickets to your shows or buy your merchandise or care about your story in any way, shape, or form. If you don't understand that, you're just leaving yourselves to the wolves.
You know, once again, I'm glad you brought that up. You know me.
Yes.
I did my research.
Yes, no, that's fine.
So, what is the hardest thing you have to deal with, in your opinion, when it comes to helping an artist get to, well, finding who they are, one, and showing them that they don't have to follow status quo of what everybody else is doing right now?
Yeah. So it's two parts, right? I have a thing for independent artists. I also have a thing for the DMV. I do have clients in other places. I have people that I reach out to that I work in teams with and other partners, stuff like that. But a lot of times, I'm not, like, if you look at my page, like, I don't have a bunch of celebrity photos, like, oh, we working, oh, we're doing such and such. But I have the contacts, I have the people that I need to call if I'm trying to make something happen. So because of that, sometimes people like to kind of lean with their own understanding, or they'll listen to people who have the photos per se. Be like, oh, well, he has a photo with such and such, so he probably has better knowledge about this and that. Or like, oh, you know, it's just like a little different. Sometimes you have to help people get out of their own way. And the thing about me is I'm not forcing anybody to yeah, like I could tell you, you know, I'm gonna tell you straight up what it is. If you be like, oh, she don't know what she's talking about, that's cool. Like, okay, yeah, and I'm not even doing it, because it's like, especially when it comes to artists, like, you have to pour so much of yourself into them that it's like, if we out the gate are in this weird spot where you don't acknowledge my value from the get-go, yeah, we're not moving forward, period.
And one thing I know about you, you want the artists to have fans that feel them, that know you, to be a part of them. And I noticed that for a fact. Yeah. And I also paid attention to, you actually show artists the proper steps on how to even be, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just an artist, but they can be a mogul. You teach that. Now, if you watch that, I pay attention to them lives. You don't know. I was watching. Because me, myself, as being an interviewer, I know it's more to just interviewing. I
Yeah.
have to be able to contact. I have to be able to move around. I have to be able to have conversations with people. I have to travel at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'm gonna travel to a country. You know,
Hey, we gonna do something.
But
We working. It's
That's-
working, but it's fun. Like you never know. Like I randomly ran into Punchy at a event for WPGC like a couple weeks ago, and we just had a good time just catching up and stuff like that. Even though we were here, I didn't have a clue he was gonna be. We had a blast. It was fun.
So one of my questions is, out of all the things you've done,
hmm
what do you think was the hardest task? Why was it the hardest task? And what is the best wisdom you got out of it?
I think, let me see, one of the hardest tasks that I had to do. My very first project rollout. First of all, it was these girls that they're amazing, called Zam Official. They're in LA, based in LA. But the thing that was hard about the project was we had a budget, and it was not a big budget. It was very, very small. And in that budget, it had to take care of all my staff, right? Take care of everything that they needed in terms of product, marketing, PR, content. So I did everything for them. And they were very hands-on as well. Like those girls they're amazing. They are self-involved with their work. They're very passionate about the things they do. They write their own stuff. They helped as much as they could. It was like building out this whole rollout and coming up with it to the point where we flew to Miami. I flew with my children, both of my children, got them a makeup artist, a hairstylist. We had the Airbnb, the studio where we played everything. We sent out their invite guest list. I personally set up their balloon arch and photo backdrop wall. We had their what are those things called? Little shot glasses with their logos on them.
Gave them the whole nine.
No, yeah, and it was like
Red carpet rollout.
Yeah.
and like I said, and they even curated that stuff themselves. They came up with looks. They did their own choreography. They told their whole story, and then we had a great event night where people came to support them and celebrate them and what they did. And it was just like in that process, like having to figure out, okay, we need to do this, that, this, and this is how much we have to get it done, and to get it done with 2 little children in tow. Got my kids blowing up balloons, you know what I'm saying? Like trying to set things up. But in that process, like we learned it and we did it, and it got executed well, and the event was great. Their project was very well received. I've been able to shop it, around to different places, like, other stuff that's going on with it. But I think that's probably like my hardest task, because we hadn't met prior to that. They were in LA. I had met their investor their manager, behind them a while prior. So that was our first time meeting. Everything had been Zoom or FaceTime or text. And then to meet out of state and turn this event around in 48 hours with 2 kids. It was pretty crazy. So, yeah.
There's a lot of jewels dropping on that.
Facts. We need
You
to
gotta
air
get
on.
it done.
Don DeMarco.
You gotta get it done. That's
So
all.
my question for you is, and we're gonna go to break after this question.
Okay.
What do you think is one of the most greatest tasks you've achieved in this year? Just starting.
And this year, goodness, I don't know. Probably we had a really dope event on Friday that took us a week and a half to put together, and it was pretty lit.
What was the event?
It was just a show, but it was an EDM show, and so it was less than 1,000 college kids. Mixed audience around that college age. No incidents. Everything did well. Everything ran smoothly. Production was amazing. Everyone had a great time. But I've done several shows this year that have been, but that's probably my favorite show, because it was a unique speakeasy kind of vibe. It was a secret party. Not everybody knew about this party, so it turned out great. So I guess I'll say that for now.
We'll go to break on that.
And
Okay.
make sure you stay tuned. We got more music on the way here at WBSU Bulldog Nation Radio, streaming worldwide from your favorite campus here at Bowie State University.
Bowie State. I'm trying to get her on my phone.
That boy got that OT voice
You
down
know
pat.
it? You know that?
I don't know why y'all can't hear.
All right, we get into the funny fun. Right back at it here at WBSU Bulldog Nation Radio. We got the one, the only P in the building. P, appreciate you coming through.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we had all the technical, the fun, the technical, the serious stuff. Now we got some fun stuff that I know Drew and Arnold. Drew, what we got today?
Are you gonna go first? Or you wanna go first?
I do my due diligence.
Okay, do your due diligence.
So let me
Go ahead, point man. Point
Let me
man.
start this off real quick, real fast.
Okay. What up?
I know you like music.
What up?
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you this. Who's better? It's my favorite category.
Who's better?
Two artists at you. You gotta pick which one you like the most.
Okay.
Lil Durk or Lil Baby.
Lil Baby.
Thank you. Finesse 2 times or Moneybagg Yo.
Moneybagg Yo.
I'm hurt right now. Whew.
Yeah.
You was gonna say finesse?
Yes.
Nah, I'm taking money too.
Right there.
Sorry.
He don't got the discography yet. He cool.
All right. Rod Wave or Tootsie.
Rod Wave.
You trying to be depressed all the time?
I'm hurt.
Nah, I like Rod Wave. I don't. Yeah.
You like that
I like
pain
Rod
music?
Wave. It's not even the music. I just like
His own.
I look at everything. It's not just music. Are you asking me just music or like overall?
She's saying it from
Yeah.
how she works.
Package. Yeah. Rod Wave. 100%.
I'm hurt.
Now on that point,
If you're
yeah, I
okay,
get
let
it.
me ask you this: don't be hurt. If you're looking from a business perspective, you trying to do an event, do a show.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you
I'm sure
booking?
Rod Wave, for
Okay,
sure.
thank you. Rod
Nothing
Wave.
messes up the money.
She got a point.
Okay, since we talking about Moolah, you said that Money Man or who I want to throw out there? You can go with Money Man right
Nobody.
now. I got one. Rio the Young OG.
Rio's locked up.
Yeah, but hey, they both to get the money. I'm saying.
I actually really like Rio, but I would definitely go with Money Man.
Okay.
100%. But I fuck with Rio. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if I can say that on this radio.
Sorry, Grandma.
Sorry, Grandma. It's cool.
bad, Grandma.
Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, OT as well.
Sorry,
FCC.
My apologies. I really mess with that guy, that fella.
I really mess with. I'm
Yes.
very cordial with.
Master P,
Mm.
Birdman,
Mm.
or Diddy.
I feel like that answer is
I
probably.
love it when it's stacked.
So in Strat, so this is a level. So,
I did my job. Let me do my
yeah. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with. I'm going to. Okay, I'm stumped a little bit. I'm trying to think between my top two between this are Diddy and Birdman.
Facts.
So those are my top two. Now I have to figure out which order, and I feel like I kind of need to go Birdman, Diddy,
Then Master P.
then Master P.
Okay. What about you?
Let me see. Oh, for me,
Uh-huh. But I got different ones for you. 'Cause you like bars.
Oh, I like bars. Like
you said
come on.
you said Birdman, Master P, and Diddy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I would go between Diddy and Birdman too, but I feel like Diddy has tapped into a little bit more outside of music than Birdman has. So I'm gonna go with Diddy because it's like Diddy touches media, and that's really all I want to go into as well. Birdman doesn't touch media as much.
Simba or
And you knew I was just listening to Simba.
Shout out to Simba. Simba's a good. Yeah.
Simba is Leaker's freestyle hard.
awesome.
Hard.
Simba or
Simba or Young and May.
Simba.
Simba. Easily. Easily.
100%.
Young and May is dope. Like I like Young and May.
I like her bar play.
Easily Simba.
Do you guys know about her production
No.
company?
I know that.
She has an adult production film.
I'm not surprised.
You get me?
I'm
Yeah, we're
I'm
gonna
not
talk about that
surprised.
offline, but you can, it's a Googleable fact on a certain platform.
Like she's
It's like
she's starring in it, or it's just her company.
she produced.
These is
it.
questions we gotta ask.
She produced. She
She produced.
produced it. Like,
Okay,
you can look it
alright.
up and see.
Wow.
Now,
I don't think I will look up and see it, but
I mean, I'd looked.
But,
I'm not
okay.
gonna lie to you. I'm
We're
looked.
gonna live untouchable on that one.
I mean, it's like 45 million views.
Ooh, okay. 50,
He's like, I'm doing it right now.
50 Cent or Diddy?
Diddy. Hey, wait, what are you talking
50.
In terms of
Yeah, 50.
how strategic they are, how well they're able to play out business moves, 50 Cent or Diddy from the mogul aspect.
I'm gonna say people are gonna pick Diddy because of his name and how big he is, but truthfully, 50 has a better
50.
business mindset.
I feel like
I
that
am
too.
going. I would go with 50.
I would put 50 over Master P actually, as far as business mindsets as well.
Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
But now I got one last one in this R&B. Boys to
Oh
Men,
my goodness.
New Edition,
Mm.
or, and what's the last one? Give me one last one, President.
112.
112.
So okay. Here's a. See, I was just talking about this the other day. I'm not like an R&B girl.
What?
I'm not. Like, it's cool, you know. Like,
There's a lot of men talking about some, no!
like you're not gonna R&B my pants off. It's not gonna happen. I'll be like, okay. And I actually like international R&B. So like, there's a French song. I have no idea what it says, but it sounds absolutely wonderful. So if I had to pick, let's go. I do like 112 had that Peaches and Cream song. Boyz II Men had hits. New Edition is a little bit before me. So I'm gonna go. I'll go Boyz II Men. Yeah.
What about you, MC?
I'll probably go 112 only because I've sampled a lot more of their stuff. Like in terms of like listening to some of the music, like I could probably see me sampling that more than necessarily like Boyz II Men or what was the other one?
Boys to Men or New Edition?
Yeah, I've sampled probably a little bit more than one with 112, so I'd probably say 112 for real.
Me personally, I'm gonna say Boys to Men because they didn't have a lot of controversy as New Edition and 112. That's just my opinion. But you, I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of brothers right now. Oh man, I wanted to do that on that night.
Oh no. See, look, it's kind of. We're not going down that road. I'm definitely. I'm a unique person when it comes to music. I'm not gonna lie. Music is definitely my love language, and it's like it's great because there's so much that I like, but that's also bad because you can't woo me with like the typical, like you have to pull some stuff out, and I'd be like, what you know about that?
It gotta be
Type.
like a
So
real.
like some old Frankie Beverly and Maze maybe.
You gotta pull out like some Panic at the Disco mixed with Frankie Beverly, mixed with some jazz, mixed with some foreign, mixed with some soca. Like my playlist is super diversified.
Say, don't just play Ella May. Don't just play Georgia Smith.
Unless you want me to take a nap.
SZA ain't the only one.
I don't even listen. So I listen to a few things, but I don't listen to toxic culture music because I don't subscribe to that. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's funny. I feel like when you have platforms, you have a responsibility to certain things, and it's like, yeah, if you cater to these audiences, yes, you find your people. I get that, but what are we edifying? So it's a little hard for me with that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm using that.
Yeah.
That's a good point though, because
Yeah.
a lot of music, like artists would say, it's them simply expressing how they feel on certain things. But at what point does it become now you're glorifying? What
Right.
you're talking about?
So for example, right, and here again, there's an artist in particular, super popular, super amazing, who had an amazing story about how she came up with this song that went platinum, viral, making all this money, and she didn't write the song at all. So it's like you pick things.
That's common though.
Like, but that's what I'm saying.
Very
It's like,
common.
but no one's really going to say that. They're not going to say that because they're selling. It's an image. It's not real. Like they're selling it to their fans. They're selling it, which is great. You know, do your thing. That's fine. And it's not saying that she can't write because she does write. But it's like, if you just admit what's going on, but people are not going to do that because it's not the industry.
So do you think music is because you said it's your love language, and it is a love language for a lot of people that don't understand it.
Yeah.
Do you think music is a way of having diverse feelings into who you want to be as far as the love language?
I feel like music helps you express things that you might not have words to. Someone else can say it better than you do. Because emotions can be very hard for people to process. And so music can give language to the feelings that you are internalizing and dealing with. So it can help you to put that, but that's also what I mean about like the responsibility to help people process those things.
So this is my last question. And I'm gonna let the president go.
I'm not, you good, I'm
When
good.
you have a date night with the person that's coming to your house, what is your playlist and why are you picking that?
I'm about to blow your mind for a second.
She's about to say it's straight silent.
I drive in silence.
Thank
Number
you.
one. Number two, most of the time I'm listening to like a pastor or something like when I get ready for to go out because okay, so like for example, when I was dating and stuff like that, which I don't date. But it's like I don't want to go into a situation with my internal spirit on high alert, right? And I go into this date feeling all vibey and R&B, and I want to put my on your body, like, because it's like, okay, but what am I trying to do? Because I don't date for like the purpose of that. I can do that on my own without leaving the house. So my goal is to meet someone, to grow, to build something. So like I just kind of, you know, I want to get my mind in that state. I want, like I said earlier about discernment and being able to look at people and understand what's being said to me. Because anyone they can talk the good talk, they can spit the verses, they can set the vibe, but that's all filter. It's all smoke and mirrors. Like, what does it really, really take for you? Like, who are you? You know? So it is like, once you take those things away and you like strip it all away, it's like, and I don't need your money and this and that. What else is it that you have to offer besides the double D's is what I like to call it. Again, I'm not gonna say that on your radio, but the D and the dollars, like those are the double. You know, like what else do you have to offer? And so like a lot of men, especially these days, it's like once you take those two things away, the conversation gets very short very quickly.
No substance.
Yeah.
Mr.
So-
President, this is your call.
So you know we're gonna go to game number 2, right?
Okay.
We're gonna speed it a little bit up. We're gonna speed
Let's
it a little
go.
bit up. The game I like to play is called Quick Draw for y'all, right?
Okay.
So we're gonna ask you some rapid fire questions. You have 3 seconds to answer them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we're gonna go ahead and get it started with the first question, right?
Okay.
What is your favorite word in another language?
In another language.
See, that's the beauty of the game.
It's like 7 seconds
Right,
now.
I'm like 7 seconds in
Like,
right
it's
now.
like
I
5, maybe 10.
don't. Gee, on Christmas. Dinero. Let's go with that.
Dinero, okay, all
Dinero.
right. A
Easy.
4-letter word that starts with a letter B.
But
So that's 3, not 4.
BUTT.
Okay, my fault.
Yeah, she found a loophole. She found a loophole.
Got a loophole, yeah. All right.
Right.
What is your go-to pastime?
Sleeping.
Sleeping. Okay. Who do you text the most?
Lex.
Okay, Shy Lex.
Best
friend. Relationship status.
Huh?
Your boys,
I mean,
we
that's
got
the
'em.
answer.
Your boys, we
It's
got
a
'em.
what? It's complicated.
It's complicated. What is your 3 red flags in a relationship?
I have 3 seconds to give 3
I'll
red
get
flags.
we're gonna do 5 today. We're gonna do 5
Okay.
today.
Anger issues, braggadociousness. I don't know if that's a word, and being late.
Ooh,
So you like to be on time.
I do.
I love it. I love it. I love her already.
Yeah, like I'm not like I'm one of them women like my best friend. I love her. Like that's the princess, like the diva. Like people who date her, they know to plan like a couple. Like they'll set a reservation and they'll set like 2 or 3 of them after, because she's gonna miss the first one. Me, I'm gonna get the 10-15 minute face on and like we're out the door.
We need more like you.
You know, but
Yes.
it's like I'm like it's cool.
Rare
Like
breed.
it's giving what it needs to give. Like for example, when I take this makeup off, my face is going to essentially look the same. Like it's not going to be terrifying. It's not going to look, you know, like a whole other person. Her too. Like she just likes to go that extra mile.
Shout out Lex, because me and Lex is the same person. I'm the
That's what I say.
My favorite friend group. You would hate me because one thing I'm gonna be is late.
And like, but you know, but like I'm saying, once you know that's how your person is, I'd be like, she'll be here.
If we gotta be somewhere at 4 o'clock, I'm telling Julian get there at 1:30.
100%,
Oh, my God.
100%, and I'm sending a card to get her. 100%.
What has been your favorite age so far?
My favorite age.
Your favorite age? Like if you could go back to
31.
31,
It's my favorite age right now.
31.
Like,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Like,
like it.
yeah, I'm loving this for me.
Your first job,
Like my actual first paid job, or my first job.
like first paid job.
Roy Rogers.
Mm.
I was a night shift cashier manager.
Okay. Favorite month.
December. Duh.
Okay. All right, yeah. Had them zodiac sounds out the way.
Capricorn season.
When's your birthday?
What's it say, February?
24th, December 24th.
For sure, for
What's it
sure.
say, February?
Okay.
Dang, so
Christmas
you-
Eve.
Your Christmas gifts be like birthday gifts too?
I guess a little.
Credit, she turning up for these. I'm telling you. What do you
Fine.
prioritize?
My kids.
Okay. And describe yourself in one word.
Yep, boys, we got it. Once again,
We got it.
Describe myself in it's complicated. I'm complicated.
That's still two.
I'm unique.
It's complicated.
Unique.
It's complicated.
Let's go.
And my last one is going to be because you kind of fly. So let me go ahead and say, how do you describe your style?
Hit or miss. I'm not gonna
We got on the good days, fellas. We got on the good days.
Sometimes I'm with it,
100%
sometimes
hit or
Hey, man.
miss. That's
you know
my
it's raining
style.
outside right now, so
I ain't got
Child,
no umbrella
listen.
either.
okay. MC, go and bring us back into some more. Let's dig deep into the different aspects that she taps into.
So you talked about we talked about off air how this wasn't even like your original field that you got into, right? So give the
Right.
listeners a little bit of you going from criminal justice to now working in entertainment.
Yeah, so it was just kind of a network thing. It was a, hey, can you help me with this? And I just kind of developed my network, and one thing led to another. And the more I try not, if I don't know something, I ask questions. So I really did like a lot of research and tried to dig deep and figure out how to do these things. And then one question led to another question, which led to another question, which led to me calling someone and like, hey, how do I do that? And that turned into 3 months to 6 months to 5 years. And then I went from one studio to another studio to a whole venue to this artist and that artist, and it just became what I do, and I loved it. So just like, trying to figure out my purpose in that process. And I loved it. So
With criminal justice, of course, and the entertainment industry being complete opposites, right, in a sense, would you say that there are a lot of similarities between the two fields?
no.
Well, how has criminal justice helped you within your now new career path?
How has criminal justice
Yeah, like,
helped?
I mean, I'm sure
It
you
has
learned something.
allowed me to make sure that I talk to all my clients about the importance of keeping their mouths shut, and also to that artist development piece of you learn how to separate. And like, if you make your whole identity this whole street life, people will not be able to separate the two. If you make it so that this is a character, this is a role that you play, and you perfect that character and tweak it and make sure everything is, because if you do this well, you're going to have a spotlight put on you. That's the whole point. So it's like at some point you have to choose, you have to make a decision, and you have to stick with it. So pretty much that's the most comparison that I can give, because I chose a degree and stuck with it, I guess. So that's the only comparison, but yeah.
And that's good motivation for the students on campus to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people graduate and they don't actually get a job within their career field. So
Facts.
And that's okay. That's what I was actually saying that when I got in here. Like I love Bowie, and I had degrees to go. I had offers to go anywhere. I had full rides to go anywhere, but I wanted to go to Bowie. And it's a little backstory history about me too. My dad ran a basketball camp for over 10 years, and we did it at Bowie State University.
Wow.
They would be in the gym. They would rent out these, the dorms and everything
Really?
every year.
Wow.
Every year. And I fell in love with the campus. I've been here like my whole life since I was a kid. So to other people, they're like, why do you want to go to Bowie? Because it's like home to me, you know? So, and I just always wanted, I always wanted to go to Bowie State. I did. He had thousands and thousands and thousands of young kids through here training basketball. They went on to be NBA players. My uncle, who used to be a camper, went on to do his, he has his own skills society development league. He has, really taken that and built off of it. So Bowie was just, there was no other option for me. Even though I got into the Ivies, I got into everything, but I wanted to be a Bowie State Bulldog. So I was like, I'm gonna come back.
Right.
I was like, I should come back and get like my formal degree in something that I'm actually doing now. You know, maybe
Okay.
I'll get an honorary degree one day. Who knows?
Amen.
Maybe.
So, you said a lot of, you said that your family did the basketball camp, so that sounds like community outreach to me, right?
Beltway
So-
Basketball Academy.
Oh, okay. So
Check it out. Remember, people
do
know.
you plan on continuing that whole community outreach, or have you already started doing that?
Yeah, so that kind of has built into what I do with music. You know, it's not the sports thing for me. My uncle has taken that over and absolutely is excelling with that. So for me, my community outreach is with music and artist development and, like I said, the creative space, because, you know, growing up, I don't know if you guys was same for you, but it was like the arts are dying, the arts are dying.
Yeah, that was my generation.
Yeah, and so it was just really like, it's not per se that the arts are dying, it's that people don't value them. They feel like it's just if you are in the art space that you're not serious or you're not this and that. So a lot of things people are left to fend for themselves to learn and figure out, and then that becomes a very internalized process. And so going back to my theory about infrastructure and building a network out is to help support and fill those gaps for people. So that's kind of where I'm at with the community outreach for it, to help out.
So with that being said, because being a student that actually pays attention to what you do,
Yeah.
I want to get into that.
Okay.
I'm not about arts development. I don't know about that. I gotta
Get in where you fit in. That's it.
My temper ain't always there.
Yeah.
I won't lie.
You willing to learn?
It's
But
okay.
I'm willing to learn. And one thing I want to ask you is, throughout your process of learning how to develop an artist and develop who they are and have them be themselves, have you ever lost who you were throughout trying to help somebody? And if so, why?
So that's a very interesting question. So I have had experience, not necessarily with the artist, like, you know, but my personal life. I had to definitely navigate that because, you know, in relationships and trying to align yourself with people. That's why, like I said, I don't listen to like R&B. I don't get things that skew my mental or the carnal side of like my spirit. I don't do things that I'm actively trying to eliminate things that do that. So, and the reason being is because I don't want to be in a position where someone can influence me to operate outside of my character or the person that I have decided and defined myself as, this is who I am. So to that point, yes, but I have in the past, and because of that, like, I set boundaries for myself and I try to develop checks and balances for myself, because people talk about boundaries and rules as being just, you know, so hard to deal with, but it's like when you give yourself defined operating like courses, you can maximize who you are, because it's like you eliminate the clutter, you eliminate the things that are not who you are. But it did take me a while to really be able to define that for myself. For a long time, I didn't know what my purpose was, and I used to say that, and I used to like just be angry and pray like why do I have these things? Why did you give me these talents? Why did you get, and like it was hard. It was like really, really hard, because it's like everything that I wanted to do, I felt like I was expending so much energy, but I never was fulfilled in it. When it was all said and done, I just felt drained, you know. So I remember the August before I turned 30, like a weekend, like people thought I lost my mind. Like I was locked in the studio in my office with a whiteboard, just running around praying, like just like I'm not leaving until I get an answer. Like I need an answer. Like, what is this? Why am I here? And everything that I have put on that whiteboard, it has come to pass since that. Like when God says like pray, like seek Him, it's a fact. And if you will get the answers, and they may not be the answers that you want, or you may not understand, it might not come right away, but if you earnestly pray and plant those seeds, you will get your answer.
So since we bringing up God, I'm glad you did. 'Cause this is going to go into a question that I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
What verse in the Bible is your favorite, and why? Because mine is Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear no evil.
Matthew 6:14.
Yeah,
What
so
did you say?
No, Larry.
yeah, that's kind of tough for me because it's like they come up in the moment, and like I said, I've kind of spent time like dedicating myself to read and to learn more, and it's really like it's hard. I don't think I have a favorite
What's your book? What kind of book do you like?
that I like to read
Mhm.
in general. I read all types of books. The one that I really liked that I just finished reading is called Atomic Habits. I think it's by James Clear, I think his name is. And basically the concept of it is doing the little things and remembering to do the little things consistently because we think it's so small. But if you do the small things, you'll notice the trajectory of your life changes dramatically. So that's that. But like I said, with scriptures, like for example, when I had that weekend of being locked in and praying, I had 2 scriptures on that whiteboard, and it's like they get placed on my heart in the moment, and it's like these are my answers, and I just need to figure out where the questions are or what pieces don't match up, and then another question will come and a scripture will pop up, and then I'll go and study that one, or I'll pray about something, and then somewhere else I'll like a thing that has been really interesting to me is the YouVersion Bible app or whatever.
Mhm.
If I have a conversation, and it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'll have a conversation, I'll pray about something, I'll be in church, and then I go and check, what's my scripture for the day? Because I'm trying to that competitiveness. Like I'm trying to keep my streak up. Like dang, I missed it. Like let me make sure I'm on here. But I read the scripture and it applies to a question that I had a couple days ago or whatever. So yeah, it's hard.
I do that very same thing. I can't go to sleep
Yeah.
without reading that verse for the day, honestly. I
Yeah.
really do that. And I send it out to my friends.
Yeah,
So
no, 100%.
now we got a little bit sad. Mushy real quick.
That's not sad. Nothing sad about it
real.
because like
It's
people
real.
talk about it. Like I said, like I'm not when it comes to God. I'm not fearful. I'm not ashamed of the gospel by any means. You know what I'm saying? And like I can have real conversations about secular stuff because it's like it's both. Like I'm not a spooky spiritual person. I'm not a you better do this or you're doing. I'm like listen. You don't. Again, going back to like how I deal with artists. You don't have to listen to me. It's your life.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is tell you what God has done for me in my life. I can tell you the things that. Well, that's the only comparison, but yeah.
And that's good motivation for the students on campus to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people graduate and they don't actually get a job within their career field.
Facts.
And that's okay. That's what I was actually saying that when I got in here. Like I've been, and I love Bowie, and I had degrees to go. I mean, I had offers to go anywhere. I had full rides to go anywhere, but I wanted to go to Bowie, and it's a little backstory history about me too. My dad ran a basketball camp for over 10 years, and we did it at Bowie State University.
Wow.
They would be in the gym. They would rent out these, the dorms and everything
Really?
every year.
Wow.
Every year. And I fell in love with the campus. I've been here like my whole life since I was a kid. So to other people, they're like, "Why do you want to go to Bowie?" Because it's like home to me, you know. So, and I just always wanted, I always wanted to go to Bowie State. I did. He had thousands and thousands and thousands of young kids through here training basketball. They went on to be NBA players. My uncle, who used to be a camper, went on to do he has his own Skills Society Development League. He has really taken that and built off of it. So Bowie was there was no other option for me, even though I got into the Ivies, I got into everything, but I wanted to be a Bowie State Bulldog. So I was like, I'm going to come back.
Right.
I was like, I should come back and get like my formal degree in something that I'm actually doing now. Maybe I'll get an honorary degree one day. Who knows?
Amen.
Maybe.
So, you said you said that your family did the basketball camp, so that sounds like community outreach to me, right?
Beltway Basketball Academy.
Oh, okay. So
Check it out. Remember, people
do
know.
you plan on continuing that whole community outreach, or have you already started doing that?
Yeah, so that kind of has built into what I do with music. It's not the sports thing for me. My uncle has taken that over and absolutely is excelling with that. So for me, my community outreach is with music and artist development, and like I said, the creative space, because you know, growing up, I don't know if you guys was same for you, but it was like the arts are dying, the arts are dying.
Yeah, that was my generation.
Yeah, and so it was just really like, it's not per se that the arts are dying, it's that people don't value them. They feel like it's just if you are in the art space that you're not serious, or you're not this and that. So a lot of things people are left to fend for themselves to learn and figure out, and then that becomes a very internalized process. And so going back to my theory about infrastructure and building a network out is to help support and fill those gaps for people. So that's kind of where I'm at with the community outreach for it, to help out.
So with that being said, because being a student that actually pays attention to what you do,
Yeah.
I want to get into that.
Okay.
I'm not about arts development. I don't know about that. I gotta
Get in where you fit in. That's it.
My temper ain't always there.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
You willing to learn?
It's
But
okay.
I'm willing to learn, and one thing I want to ask you is, throughout your process of learning how to develop an artist and develop who they are and have them be themselves, have you ever lost who you were throughout trying to help somebody? And if so, why?
So that's a very interesting question. So I have had experience, not necessarily with the artist, like, you know, but my personal life. I had to definitely navigate that because, you know, in relationships and trying to align yourself with people. That's why, like I said, I don't listen to like R&B. I don't get things that skew my mental or the carnal side of like my spirit. I don't do things that I'm actively trying to eliminate things that do that. So, and the reason being is because I don't want to be in a position where someone can influence me to operate outside of my character or the person that I have decided and defined myself as, this is who I am. So to that point, yes, but I have in the past, and because of that, like, I set boundaries for myself, and I try to develop checks and balances for myself, because people talk about boundaries and rules as being just, you know, so hard to deal with, but it's like when you give yourself defined operating like courses, you can maximize who you are, because it's like you eliminate the clutter, you eliminate the things that are not who you are. But it did take me a while to really be able to define that for myself. For a long time, I didn't know what my purpose was, and I used to say that, and I used to like just be angry and pray like why do I have these things? Why did you give me these talents? Why did you get, and like it was hard. It was like really, really hard, because it's like everything that I wanted to do, I felt like I was expending so much energy, but I never was fulfilled in it. When it was all said and done, I just felt drained, you know. So I remember the August before I turned 30, like a weekend, like people thought I lost my mind. Like I was locked in the studio in my office with a whiteboard, just running around praying, like just like I'm not leaving until I get an answer. Like God, like I need an answer. Like what is this? Why am I here? And everything that I have put on that whiteboard, it has come to pass since that. Like when God says like pray, like seek Him, it's a fact. And if you will get the answers, and they may not be the answers that you want, or you may not understand, it might not come right away. But if you earnestly pray and plant those seeds, you will get your answer.
So since we bringing up God, I'm glad you did. 'Cause this is going to go into a question that I have for you. What verse in the Bible is your favorite, and why? Because mine is Psalms 23. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I don't fear no evil.
Matthew 6:14.
Yeah,
What
so
is it?
Oh, no, there.
yeah, that's kind of tough for me, because it's like they come up in the moment, and like I said, I've kind of spent time like dedicating myself to read and to learn more, and it's really like it's hard. I don't think I have a favorite
What's your book? What kind of book do you like?
that I like to read in general. I read all types of books. The one that I really liked, that I just finished reading, is called Atomic Habits. I think it's by James Clear, I think his name is. And basically the concept of it is doing the little things and remembering to do the little things consistently, because we think it's so small, but if you do the small things, you'll notice the trajectory of your life changes dramatically. So that's that. But like I said, with scriptures, like for example, when I had that weekend of being locked in and praying, I had 2 scriptures on that whiteboard, and it's like they get placed on my heart in the moment, and it's like these are my answers, and I just need to figure out where the questions are or what pieces don't match up, and then another question will come and a scripture will pop up, and then I'll go and study that one, or I'll pray about something, and then somewhere else I'll like a thing that has been really interesting to me is the YouVersion Bible app or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If I have a conversation, and it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I'll have a conversation, I'll pray about something, I'll be in church, and then I go and check, what's my scripture for the day? Because I'm trying to that competitiveness. Like I'm trying to keep my streak up. Like dang, I missed it. Like let me make sure I'm on here. But I read the scripture and it applies to a question that I had a couple days ago or whatever. So yeah, it's hard.
I do that very same thing. I can't go to sleep without reading that verse for the day, honestly. I really do that. And I send it out to my friends.
Yeah.
So,
no, 100%.
Now, we got a little bit sad mushy real quick.
That's not sad. Nothing sad about it
real.
because, like, people talk about it. Like I said, like, I'm not, when it comes to God, I'm not fearful. I'm not ashamed of the gospel by any means. You know what I'm saying? And, like, I can have real conversations about secular stuff because it's like, it's both. Like, I'm not a spooky spiritual person. I'm not you better do this or you're doing. I'm like, listen, you don't, again, going back to like how I deal with artists, you don't have to listen to me. It's your life.
Mm-hmm.
All I can do is tell you what God has done for me in my life. I can tell you the things, the choices, the this and that. Like, well, this happened. And you're right. There's some things that, yes, people make decisions that make their lives harder than what they need to be. That happens. But at the same time, there's other things that are not associated with that. And there's guidance and there's direction. And it's just like, if that's not for you, no problem. All good.
So, for the people that really want to follow you, what upcoming projects do you have? And is it possible WBSU can get the red carpet to come through?
Of course.
Because WBSU do red carpet.
Go ahead,
media
promo, Mr.
moment.
President.
Simple plug-in. You know what I mean?
No,
We do red
of
carpets. We do red carpet interviews. You know what I mean?
And some tickets. We get some tickets together, get some giveaways. That's why I said I'm trying to do a collaborative event with you guys, with the campus. We can try to talk about that in the future. Make that happen.
Miss Thomasina.
Exactly. No, exactly. Because it's like, that was my whole goal because, like I said, I'm the event coordinator for Whitfield Entertainment Group Studios. We're based in Washington, D.C., right there in Northeast. We just did like our first open house over there, and it was really like a lot of people showed up, super dope. And the whole goal is to get more eyes on the property. It's to get we're a mixed use space. And so, we've had a couple concepts about things we wanted to do. So I'm down for all of that.
Well, you got a question, co-host? 'Cause you've been sitting there a little quiet.
Because here's the thing, right? So, like,
listening.
sometimes, even though interview, yes, is your job, but sometimes you got to sit and take it in. And especially with listening to P, this is something that I went myself go into with the marketing, work entertainment, media, and whatnot. So I'm just here just to be a fly on the wall and a towel and just soak it all in, my friend. Like I said, I came in, y'all said, oh, P coming through. Say less. I will be on it. I will be here.
Period. Thank you.
I wanted to make sure you had the greatest experience.
It's
here.
great. It's wonderful. It's, like I said, I love Bowie. I definitely enjoy my time. I was like, when I was here, it was like one of the first times they had introduced online classes. And I kind of have talked about this loosely in different places. I'm actually very shy. Like, I don't like to talk publicly. When I was younger, I kind of it was like trauma on accident because they were doing it to help us like build skills. So we used to have these things called oratorical contests. And I don't know if you guys know what that is, but basically imagine giving a group of elementary, middle schoolers, high schoolers, a topic to speak on, and then they write it, and then you make them memorize it, and then speak to crowds like a church full of people. So terrifying, and it gave me like a fear of public speaking. I always did really well in terms of like writing, but I I would have like anxiety. That's when I first kind of learned about it. I didn't know what it was. I just thought I was, tripping out or whatever. So, but in the industry that I'm in, I've had to slowly but surely get over that and learn to talk to other people and communicate. And again, just kind of tell my story, and hopefully someone resonates with it. It helps them. So that's why I said I'm going to just try to do more engagements, more opportunities to talk. So
now, in terms of what advice would you give to students who want to go the route that you were saying, working in the entertainment industry?
I would say cultivate relationships, and genuine relationships. It's just like you're gonna meet a lot of people. So define who you are and the kind of person that you want to be in the industry. Define your why, what you're doing. I think I talked about that briefly when we were here just meeting, but defining your why is very important, because it's a fast life. It's a nightlife, and if you do not tether yourself, if you don't tether yourself to your core principles, your beliefs, and how you want to, you will be just knocked away, swayed away, dealing with this person to that person, and you can very easily, very quickly lose sight of what got you interested in doing this in the first place. It is a responsibility, and I just would say really identify that for yourself first, and then do good business with people. Your word is your bond, and make sure that is the case, and protect those relationships that you build. Because if you're operating from a stance of I want to do this, I want to do that, and you start attracting a network of people that believe in you, or they are looking for you for guidance or direction or support, you have a responsibility to protect them in that. So that would be my advice.
Okay, and also advice for just ladies in general, young ladies in general that want to pursue the entertainment industry.
Protect yourself at all costs, girl. Really, no, but seriously, I would definitely say get you a strong group of people around you, because you have a lot of strikes against you before you get in the door. And having strong people, whether it's male or female, there are a lot of men. I've met some great men that have been protection for me, that have been support for me. And it's just again, same thing. Define who you are. Define who you want to deal with, why you want to deal with it, how you want to operate. Make sure that you understand that, crystal clear. Because it's going to evolve over time, but the core of it is going to be the same. So my advice would be the same thing. It's a slippery slope. So.
And where can the fans find you?
The fans. If you're looking to follow me or talk to me or just hang out with me socially, it's at P_did_that on all social media platforms.
Yeah, I can't do that unless I do it first. I did it before.
You're good. Everything's good.
Well, listen, P, we appreciate you stopping by to kick with us here at WBSU.
Thank
Listen,
you.
we got a whole lot more coming on the way. Y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, stay locked in. WBSU, Bulldog Nation Radio, baby.
Period. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.